Offside, out of bounds. Welcome to Offside and Out of Bounds. I am at Junior, and today it's that time of year, boys and girls. It is the day before opening day, which means we are hot and heavy in the fantasy baseball draft season. Today, we are bringing you our inaugural episode of our fantasy draft. Today, episode 1 will be starting pitching. Let's go! So, what to look for in starting pitching when building your fantasy team? Well, this is a stats-driven league, as all are. So the one thing you're going to look at is not just win-loss ratio. The biggest indicator is going to be high K to BB ratio. So that's a lot of strikeouts to very little walks. This is going to tell you that your pitcher has a lot of control. The next thing to factor in will be whip, then strikeouts, and innings pitched. So this is all going to depend on what factors there are scoring in your league. So basically, you're going to look for the highest ratios in all of those, and those are the guys that you're going to want to draft. Now, obviously, it's nice and sexy to take those guys at the top of the board, the guys in the top 5, which we are going to go through right now. But then we're going to give you some sleepers, some guys that you should take an eye on, make certain that you're putting in the queue, because if you have an opportunity to take them with the last few picks, you're definitely going to set yourself up for success. So let's get into it right now with our top 5. Here we are. Number 1 ranked pitcher in the fantasy drafts this year is Jacob deGrom. So last year he was 4-2 with a 2.38 ERA with 68 innings pitched, 104 strikeouts, and a WHIP of .956. So in a short season, pretty decent numbers. But the one thing you do want to look at first is going to be that K to BB ratio, which is 5.77 for deGrom, which basically breaks down to you're going to get 5 strikeouts for every walk that he's going to issue this year. Over a year, extrapolate those numbers, it's going to be absolutely wonderful. We're going to get a full year out of him, so there's no reason why he shouldn't be that number 1. Next on top is the number 2 ranked pitcher, Garrett Cole, 7-3 with a 2.84 ERA, 73 innings pitched, 94 strikeouts, and a .959 WHIP. And to look at his K to BB ratio, 5.52. Now, a good thing for Cole is he's going to get a lot of offense, so he'll tend to be pretty relaxed on the mound. So that's probably one of the reasons why he's coming in here at number 2. Coming in at number 3 is Shane I'm Not Justin Bieber. Wins 8, losses 1, ERA 1.63, 77 innings pitched, 122 strikeouts, and his WHIP at .866. His K to BB ratio is a whopping 5.8, so that is the highest out of these 3 that we've seen so far. The concern here with Bieber is that he is going to be out of most games, as there is not much offensive prowess in Cleveland. So buyer beware. Next, coming in at number 4, we have Yu Darvish, who was 8-3 last year with a 2.01 ERA, 76 innings pitched, 93 strikeouts, and a .961 WHIP. His KBB is 7.7. I like the offense he has behind him. His numbers were decent last year, again, behind a strong offense. So we definitely see Yu getting some increase in his numbers. His KBB hopefully will be where it stays, but there is the distinct issue of the long ball out there in Petco. So number 4, definitely see him here. Now rounding out the top 5, we have Trevor Bauer. Last year he was 5-4 with a 1.73 ERA, 73 innings pitched, 100 strikeouts, .795 WHIP. Love the WHIP. His KBB is 5.88, which is decent. He's moving to Los Angeles with a pretty stout offense behind him, so he's going to be real loose because he's going to have some runs on the board. In trouble, Trevor's definitely got that mindset to kind of get to that next gear. We definitely see a good year out of him and a definite tick in those numbers. So coming in at number 5, we feel might be a bit too high for Bauer here, but we'll wait and see. Okay, so I'm on the clock. This is how I'm going to build my pitching staff out. So I've got a bit of guys that are at the top, bit of guys that are in the middle, bit of guys that are at the bottom. The one thing I'm looking at for is a strong KBB percentage and guys who don't give up a lot of runs, guys who don't give up a lot of walks. So at the top of my staff, I'm going to drop in Zach Greinke, followed by Hyunjin Ryu, Ian Anderson, Lance Lynn, Zach Gallen out of the Arizona Diamondbacks, and Marco Gonzalez, who is predominantly probably the top pitcher in Seattle this year. So those are the 6 guys I'm taking. That's how I'm going to build my staff, my starting pitching. I'm going to have pretty strong ERA intact. They're not going to give up a lot of home run balls, and they don't give up a lot of walks. So that's going to help the whip as well. Thanks for listening to our inaugural episode of our fantasy draft. This is Offside and Out of Bounds. I am at Junior. Stay safe, support local, and see ya real soon.